Hi, everybody. This is Judy from GetSetUp. We're getting started with our employer showcase today featuring Belay, and we'll just wait a few minutes as people are coming in to the session right now. Got a few people who are still connecting to their audio. Hi, Ari. Welcome. Okay, let's go ahead and we'll go ahead and get started. Again, welcome everybody. We're excited to have you here today to learn a little bit about Belay and the opportunities that they have currently. My name is Judy Stelling, and I'm the director of the Jobs and Reskilling Initiative at GetSetUp. And we have with us today a few representatives from Belay who are going to talk to you about it. But just to give you a little background, Belay is a virtual solutions company. They are based in the United States. They operate as a 100% remote workplace with people spread all throughout the country, which is really exciting. And as a company, in the time that they've been around, they've achieved a lot of awards. You can see a few of them on the right-hand side. Awards from Inc. as being a best place to work, on one of the fastest growing companies, and also from FlexJobs, one of the top 100 remote workplaces in 2021. So kudos to Belay. From Belay, we have Tanya Benes. She's the Talent Acquisition Recruiter and Diversity and Inclusiveness Committee Co-Chair. And we also have Jane Wilson, who is also a Talent Acquisition Recruiter. And they'll be sharing information about the company, about the jobs. And after they do that, we're going to unmute and let you ask any questions that you might want to get more information about the opportunities in the company. So on that note, I'm going to turn it over to Tanya and let her introduce you to Belay. Tanya.
Thank you, Julie. Thank you. And thank you for inviting us to be here. It's glad to be here with all of you.
We're glad to have you.
Thank you. A little bit of background on the company. Belay was actually started 12 years ago. We'll have our 12-year anniversary officially on Saturday by Brian and Shannon Miles. They both were working 60 plus hours a week and started their family. And it came to a point that Shannon felt that she just wasn't giving of herself fully at work and she wasn't giving of herself fully at home. And so they decided to create Belay. And we started with one contractor and two churches as our first clients. And that first contractor is actually our present day CEO, which is exciting to see how she's risen through the ranks. But now that same opportunity is offered to over 1,700 contractors and 2,500 clients. We've actually doubled in the last 2 years in size. And as Judy mentioned, we are a company that's across the US from East Coast to West Coast. And so it gives you the opportunity to be able to still work and have that work-life balance in your life. And so right now, we have several different service lines that we offer. Our most popular one is the virtual assistant. And then we have bookkeeping, we have social media managers, and then we also have website specialists. And so we're kind of the matchmaker between the client and the contractors. And so on the contractor side, they're able to still work. A lot of times they're stay-at-home parents, and they have a chance to really still use the skill set that they have to serve clients. And then on the client side, they're able to be freed up to grow the business while their assistants help with calendar and email and bookkeeping, things that they don't have time to do, but that are very important and vital to the ongoing of their business and being able to grow it. So I know that Judy asked us to talk about too, why people like working at Belay. Whether you're a contractor, an employee, or a client, it's that time. You're able to really maximize your time. I know with me not having a commute anymore, I'm able to be a lot more productive. And that's the same thing with our contractors. They're able to drop their kiddos off in car line and then, come home and do work. Or you could work from anywhere you have an internet connection. So if that's your local coffee shop, or maybe you're in Florida and your feet are in the sand on the beach, it really is up to you where you work from. So it really gives you that flexibility, and you're able to own your schedule, but still serve your clients as well. And our clients, I know, really have seen the benefit from that, because it frees them up and they're able to focus on the things that only they can do. So the matching process is, I'd say, probably one of my favorite parts of the job. So I am going to hand it over to Jane, and she's going to go through some of the specifics of each of the jobs we're looking for. So Jane, I'll go ahead and hand it over to you.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to share my screen. Welcome, everyone. And I'm going to talk about the different job opportunities that we have available at Belay. And these, of course, are contract positions. And we are currently hiring for all of the positions I'm going to mention. So let's see. I want everybody to be able to see well. So the one that Tanya just mentioned, the Belay virtual assistant, is our most popular contract role. We have a lot of clients seeking contractors that can provide these services. The key qualifications I have listed here: we do prefer a bachelor's degree and some experience working in field. And we want our contractors to be available during normal business hours, Monday through Friday, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. for at least a minimum of 20 hours per week. So one of the perks of being a contractor at Belay is the fact that we do not offer nights or weekends. So we want to be available just during the normal business hours. We also, as I mentioned earlier, like experience in an administrative role. And we want you to have an in-office home setup, including a Mac or a PC computer with a webcam. And we also would like for you to have some programs installed that most businesses are using, which would include Word, Excel, Outlook, or PowerPoint. And of course, you need a fast and reliable internet connection, because we have a lot of Zoom calls. Everybody's working virtually. And you need a designated, quiet, professional environment. And again, this is a 1099 contractor role, and the pay range is $18 to $21 per hour. The pay is based on skills, background, and experience, also education, and where you live within the United States. So we're located in the Metro Atlanta area, but we're aware that places like Washington, D.C. or on the West Coast or Hawaii, those are more expensive areas. So we do take that into consideration when we're looking at pay. So another contractor role that is a very popular service line at Belay is the Belay bookkeeper. And in this role, we do prefer a bachelor's degree in business, accounting, finance, or some related field. And of course, experience in accounting and or bookkeeping. And this role is really a full charge bookkeeper, someone who's got some accounts payable experience, accounts receivable, bank reconciliation. Those are the things we're looking for, that true bookkeeper. And they need to have an understanding of payroll and some experience in that area. And at Belay, all of our clients are streamlined to QuickBooks Desktop or our online version. We just recently moved all the clients to the QuickBooks Online, so you would need to have an understanding of QuickBooks Online in order to qualify for this role. And again, these are the tools needed: a home office setup, a computer with a webcam, a smartphone, and high-speed internet, and again, the QuickBooks Online. This also, as I mentioned, is a 1099 contract role. The pay range is $20 to $25 an hour. The pay is based on the bundle of services that the client buys for the bookkeeping line, and it can vary based on the role of the company, the revenue coming in each month, and of course, the number of employees can make a difference in the pay range. and also whether they're bi-weekly or once a month paid employees. So that's how the pay is determined, but it's normally on the higher end, around the $25 an hour. And the last service line that I want to share with you is the Belay Social Media Manager. And this one has more qualifications listed because it is more of a mid-level position, and we do need some solid experience in this role. And in this role, we definitely prefer a bachelor's degree and some experience working remotely. And we're looking for candidates that have experience with social media platforms, including Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Experience with developing strategies for social media campaigns and different channels, and also experience with leveraging those social media management and analytics tools like Buffer or Hootsuite or Sprout Social, excuse me. And we also look for someone who has a background in writing and editing, because that's a big part of managing the social media engagements. You have to be able to create the content calendars and present those well and be the voice of the client. So you definitely need some knowledge of digital marketing and current best practices within the different channels. We also look for someone who has experience in paid ads, either on Facebook or with YouTube videos. And it's definitely a plus if you have some strong experience with reels and videos, because that's the biggest trend in social media management right now. And again, you have to have the in-home office set up, and you have to have a Mac or a PC computer, and you have to have a webcam, of course, and you need a good internet connection with a smartphone too. Again, this is a 1099 contractor role. The pay range is $28 to $33 an hour. This is based on years of experience and also experience with tools and platforms and degrees. If you have a digital marketing certification, that's definitely a plus in this field. So those are the three service lines that we're always hiring for. If you go to our website, you can apply directly to Belay, and we have questions on the application for you to answer first. Then we follow up with a skills assessment to see what your background and knowledge is. And you must score a certain percentage on the skills assessment in order to move forward to a Belay interview. So once you go to a Belay interview and meet with a recruiter, then that would be the final step of the process.
Okay. Well, thank you, Tanya and Jane, for sharing the information.
Awesome.
So why don't we open up the lines, and if anybody has any questions that they would like to ask of Tanya or Jane, please do so.
We have one question asking what is the web address to apply. Maybe you can send it to us here in the chat.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Put in right now. You did it at the same time, Jane.
Are there any other questions? If not, I have a few. Jane, I know that you, Antonia, you said this was a contractor position. And is there a certain length to the contract, time frame to the contract, or how does that work?
Our contracts, usually on average, our clients sign on 18 and 24 months at a time. So we do ask for a minimum of 12 months just so you have a chance to really grow in that relationship with the client. So 12-month minimum is what we do ask.
Okay. And once somebody gets accepted and through your application process, is there a time lag before they get associated with a client, or is that something that is happening during the interview process? You're figuring out where they're going to be assigned.
Well, first they have to attend Belay 101, and that's built on a first come first serve basis. Usually we can get them in a Belay 101. What do you say, maybe a week or two after the interview, Jane?
About
And
no
then,
longer than a week.
yeah. And so once they're done with Belay 101, they can immediately start being matched with clients at that point. So it could be as fast as 1 to 3 days. On average, it's right at about 10 days to get you placed with that first client, but it could take up to 30, just because we want to make sure it's a good match for you both.
Okay, and Belay 101 is your own internal training program?
Yep,
Yes.
it's our
Or-
onboarding. Oh, go
And
ahead,
how
Shannon.
long does that last?
1 hour. We call it our Belay, Belay 101 onboarding class. It lasts for 1 hour. It meets on a Monday or a Thursday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Okay,
And once the candidate has completed the contract and our W-9 tax form and all the paperwork is in, we move them into the next available class.
okay.
And as soon as they complete this class, they're eligible to be placed with a client. Do you want me to explain what that looks like, the matching process, Judy? Would that help?
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay, so first I'll tell you what happens in the Belay 101 class. And it is, this is a big overview, of course, but the goal of the 101 class is for you to see the culture of Belay and the excitement that we bring to the virtual environment. But there are also, a group of 10 to 12 contractors going through at the same time, and it could be from all of our service lines. So they meet some of the new contractors. They may hear some questions asked that they didn't think to ask in the interview. So it's definitely a time for the leader within the contractor care department to educate them on our process. So they tell you things like you get paid on the 15th of the month. Belay handles the paycheck for the client. But most importantly, they go through the step-to-step process of being placed with a client. So it looks like this. As soon as the class ends, they are eligible to be placed. They have a link to our online job portal. So we encourage the candidates to start checking that immediately. We want you to take the initiative and help drive the process. So when you go to the job board, we want you to look at all the clients out there and apply to at least 2 or 3 that you think are a good fit. So there's lots of information there for them to make an educated decision. For example, we have clients all over the US. Some people may prefer Eastern Standard Time Zone. They may want West Coast clients. It depends on your family schedule. Someone could be open to all time zones. So you have a choice there if you want to have a particular time zone. Also, you'll see the industry the client's representing. We have nonprofits, we have faith-based, we have for-profit clients in the IT field, we have attorneys, we have the medical field, we have authors, we have life coaches, we have higher education. So we're always getting new clients coming in. So when you go to the job board, again, there's a short form you complete if you see 2 or 3 clients that you think are a great fit. The placement coordinator at Belay is notified. So they'll in turn email you or text you to schedule a short phone call. It's not more than a 10-minute chat because the contractors have already been hired, they're qualified. But the placement coordinator's role is to find the perfect person for this client. So they'll call 2 or 3 people and they're looking for these 3 things. Confidence to serve the client, someone who's resourceful and proactive, and someone who can drive the engagement. And that's what we're looking for overall in the process, and a heart to serve, because when you're in especially the virtual assistant role, you're serving the client and you're supporting them. So that's what we're looking for throughout the process. And if you and that placement coordinator agree that you're a good fit for the client, the final step is to meet with our client success consultant. And this person is the liaison between the client and the contractor. And this is our best resource to prepare you for this meeting. You get a link to a discovery call between the client and the client success consultant. So you actually get to hear the client describing the overall business operations of their company, what their pain points are, the reason they came to Belay, and they'll be talking about the bundle of services they purchased. So you'll get a great feel for the demeanor and the personality of the client. And that's what sets you up for success. So when you meet with the client success consultant, you can address those pain points that you've heard the client talk about, go in there with a plan on how you can help them. So then the client success consultant will, if they agree that you're the right fit for the client, they will set up what we call a kickoff call, and they'll introduce you to the client over Zoom. You'll go over best practices, and then at that point, after the kickoff call, you're working independently with the client. So that's a lot. I can take a deep breath now, but it is a process, but that's why it's so successful. We have a 94% success rate of matching contractors and clients together. So as you can see, it is a very detailed and orderly process, but that's why it works.
Thanks, Jane. That was very helpful to hear all that and to better understand how you're making that magic work at Belay between the contractors and the clients. You said that you had a variety of clients from all different industries. How large are these clients? Are they usually small businesses or are they large organizations? Can you talk to that a little bit?
I would say they're mostly small to medium, but we will occasionally get more of a medium to large size business.
Okay.
And sometimes we'll get a business that wants, 3 to 5 virtual assistants for different.
Oh, wow.
So I think that's great. I spoke to a contractor recently, and she worked for a larger church, and they had 3 virtual assistants from Belay. I just thought that was amazing. But we were founded on, of course, accommodating the smaller business executive.
Okay.
And it grew to more medium size.
Okay. We did have a question in the chat that Tanya answered about how many hours can somebody work, and the answer that was replied was 20 to 40 hours, and that some of the contractors do work for multiple clients or do serve multiple clients versus a single client.
Right. That's an option in all of the service lines. So like for the virtual assistant, the average virtual assistant has 2 clients, and that's their choice. They can start with one and they can add a second one whenever they feel like they have the bandwidth to do so. Okay. And now we do have some rock star VAs who have 3 clients, but most of the virtual assistants have 2 or 1. It depends on, the things that they're doing. And the bookkeepers can have a lot because, as you know, when you're managing the books for a small firm or a church, that can just be 3 hours a week sometimes once you get the books cleaned up.
And when each of your clients engages with you, do they sign up for X number of hours per week, basically, in their contract? So they're.
Yeah, it's a bundle of services that they sign up for, and it's it's not limiting. If they sign up for 20 hours of virtual assistant services per week, and then within 3 to 4 months, if they've developed a great relationship with the virtual assistant and they want to hand off more tasks, then they can increase their package if they want to. And I would say that it's around the 90th percentile that most clients will increase their virtual assistant services to 5 more hours or 10 more hours. You really just have to get in there and gain the trust of the client. Once you get the trust of the client, they want to hand off more tasks, and you partner with them.
Is there a cost to a contractor to join?
No, there is no fee to be a contractor at Belay.
And what type of support do you offer your contractors once they sign on within Belay? Do you have a community? Is there like a community that they associate with, or?
Every client that they have, they're assigned the client success consultant that Jane was just talking about, and they're going to be the mentor and coach to the contractor the entire engagement. They'll check in regularly with them to give them feedback, make sure they have the resources that they need. And they'll also have access to our contractor portal. It's kind of similar to a Facebook group, but it's that community that you just talked about. Okay. All 1,700 contractors are in there. They share best bets with each other. They ask questions. It's a very close-knit community. It's also a really great resource. So definitely everybody's welcomed in as soon as they walk in the door.
So if somebody runs into an issue or something like that, they can reach out to the support group or to their client success manager for help.
Yes.
We do have podcast and webinars within the contractor care department, and it can be anything, tips and tricks using Asana, which is a task management tool, or it could be, how to get along better with your client. It's a great toolbox, and there probably are about 60 resources currently in there, and they have access to that. Excuse me.
That's great. And just one thing I want to clarify. Your clients are national. Are you looking for contractors from all states, from anywhere, or are there any restrictions there?
There are 5 that are restricted. It's New York, California, Pennsylvania. And what are the other 2 I'm missing, Jane?
New Jersey. Let's
Yes,
see.
New Jersey,
Pennsylvania, New York, New Jersey, California. I don't know which one. Well,
And there's
it's on
one
the
more.
website, and
Yeah.
it
Okay.
doesn't have anything to do with Belay. It has to do with their restrictions on employees paying taxes.
They have very heavy independent contractor restrictions.
Right.
The state governments do.
We also have a question here asking, will Belay provide the QuickBooks software?
Now that everyone's switched over to the online version, the clients have the responsibility of adding their bookkeepers onto their account. When it was QuickBooks Desktop, yes, the contractor still had to have a subscription, but now that we're 100% QuickBooks Online, the clients will take care of adding their bookkeeping contractors on to the account.
Super, thank you.
Are there any other questions that haven't been answered yet? I know we've covered a lot and given you some insight into what the roles are at Belay. Oh, Donna's asking about the restrictions. The restrictions, Donna, are related to independent contractor employment in each of the states that they mentioned. Okay. All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for joining. We appreciate you being here with us today and look forward to future events. And if anybody has any questions, you can forward them to me. My email address is judy@getsetup.io. And thank you again for coming. And thank you, Tanya and Jane, for sharing all the exciting information about the opportunities at Belay.
You're
Thank you for
welcome.
having us. Thank you. Appreciate
Check
it.
out our website.
Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.